and I still want to say something, but I'm just like kind of dropping my jaw, like, what am I looking at? And it makes a break and it starts running towards us, I guess, to do what people call, I guess, a bluff charge. And it stopped short, probably 50 feet, 60 feet.
Welcome back to the Giant Jupiter podcast. I'm your host, Tom Franklin. And today, ladies and gentlemen, there they are. Oh, look at that. Oh, been a busy day today. As you can see, we got ourselves the other way, it's in reverse. I got myself a logo brand change so you guys get to see how everything's going down. I've been a very busy day and I got the best surprise all day long. Mr. James Faedtke is back on with us. And if you don't know who he is, please do me a favor. Go back. It's about a year and a half ago, maybe. I had him on and he had the just giant owl incident. It's one of the most insane, incredible stories. And I'm so glad that he came on to tell me about it. And today he has some new things he wants to talk about. We had some problems getting it going, but we got them all squared away. If you keep coming back to the Eye of Jupiter, please do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. That would help me out so very much. If you want to contact me, all my things are down in the description below, and you can reach me that way or just contact me through my email at the eyeofjupiterpodcast@gmail.com. So with all that out of the way, let's welcome back to the show, Mr. James Faedtke. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, everybody? Hanging in there with a little bit of trouble. We got to this point, though, thank God.
We got here, buddy. Long time no see. I was supposed to have you on next week, but you got snowed in, so no work. And you were like, hey, we can do it today. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, let's do it.
Right. Yeah. I really didn't think it was going to happen up to this point, but like
Well,
I
it took
said, thank
us,
God.
what long did it take us? It took us an hour to get it working, but we got it working, man. We're here.
Sorry for the
don't be
tech,
sorry at all, man.
lack of tech knowledge.
I was the tech guy. I was able to get you over on Google Meets, and through there we were able to talk it through. So that's awesome. James, do me a favor. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and just begin however you want to begin, buddy.
I guess I'm from Northwest Indiana. Nothing weird happened to me up to the point where I fell out of the tree, and that's when stuff slowly started happening, little stuff, and I didn't see the pattern. And then the owl thing happened, where that was the craziest thing I seen up to that point. But a year later, not even probably 2 miles from where that happened, me and a buddy, actually the guy that me and Josh, when I told the owl story, were walking to his house, Dennis. We were actually doing something sort of illegal, which took a long time for me to admit and talk about, but
okay, just make sure they don't incriminate yourself. I'm just going to
it didn't happen, so we really didn't incriminate. But there's a park in the town called Lemon Lake, and it closes at dark. It's gated to where you're not supposed to be in there after dark. And we do fishing, so I didn't have to work. We took the day off to go fishing, and
is this the giant bug that you were playing Zorro with? The big giant. Is that right? Am I jumping the shark? Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe
I did see a dragonfly and a big spider fish, but yeah, no, I don't know.
Okay,
it must have been somebody else.
I'm sorry. Please.
No, you're all right. So we went fishing for the day, and this is one of my ex-girlfriend's little brother, and he's not really a outdoors person. He will fish and every now and then, but mainly he stays inside and plays video games. But yeah, I talked him into going fishing, and we go to this park and we're fishing for a while, and they built this old playground when I was a kid, which I probably was like 5, 6 years old when they completed this, which would have made it like 1985, 86. And they were tearing it down because they already built a new one, like a more modern playground on the other side of the park. And we're in the wooded area, and we noticed that there was 3 roll-off dumpsters lined up, and they were tearing down this old playground. And we kind of peeked into the dumpsters. No one was working. We were just seeing like what was in there as we were walking by, and we noticed they weren't separating any of the metal. They were just gonna turn all the cast aluminum and all the treated lumber and beams and everything for this big 2-story wooden playground, and they just had it all twisted together. So I said, you know what? They're actually going to get charged less if we end up taking this cast aluminum, even though we probably should have asked. But I don't
Of
think
course.
they would
Yeah.
have did it just for like insurance reasons, because the spiral slide was pretty tall because it went up 2 stories. So we come up with this idea that we were gonna stay the night at the park, or not stay the night, but wait till it closed and walked in and parked at a buddy's house that was near this park and came through a side gate. So we didn't have a car there. And we were going to unbolt all these slides that were still left that weren't under all the beams in the roll offs. And we were just going to, I guess, pull up with the truck the next day and load them up. Just to, I mean, I don't know what Cass was going for back then, but we figured we were going to get a few $100s from what was there. And I really didn't like to admit the fact that we were doing this because it sounds horrible, like we were taking away some kid's playground or something, but that was not the case. They built a new one and stuff, so they were just throwing it away.
Okay.
But so we were gonna do this 2 or 3 different times. I can't quite remember. I believe it was 2 times that we were planning on doing it and staying, and because this is like maybe July or something, because it was real warm out. The mosquitoes were bad, and we were just planning on staying there. And after these 2 nights of trying to do it, or not even trying, just having other plans, that we finally got to do it this one night. So we walked in, we had our fish and the minor fish and stuff, but I had expensive stuff, and then there was a point for me to tell that part or whatever because something happens to it. But we end up walking uh, around the lake to the back end where we're not really seeing too much. It started to get dark, and we kind of like went further into the woods. So when they would do the round to see if everybody was out, the cars were out and everybody's out, so they can lock the gate for the night. Uh, they did a round, and that was around 8, 9 o'clock. And then they did it, and we were still there on the backside of this lake, and it's nighttime at this point. And they did it. We sat there for a little while, and they did another round, and we would have probably been already unbolting this thing, and they might have seen us when they did the second round.
Okay.
And we figure after they left the second time, they were locking the gate and probably not coming back. So we went over and we had WD-40 and wrenches already the right sizes and everything to unbolt this thing from concrete, both of them. And we sprayed the bolts again. Waited a little bit longer. Uh, I don't know if I should tell this part, but we did smoke. We burned one doobie or whatever, just to let a little bit more time go by and the bolts soak even. And when we walked over to the playground part to do this, we left our fishing stuff casted out for catfish, just to have an excuse of why we were back there if we did end up getting caught by there's a house up by the gate where the people that run the park live. And at this point, when we're over by the slide getting ready to do it, we hear this unnerving scream, what we thought was a woman, possibly being injured very badly. And not having a weapon on me or on us or anything, we're like, man, we can't really help. We don't know if we should try to go into the trail in the woods to see if this person needs help or what's going on or whatever. And I mean, this screaming is just so loud, but it really sounded like a woman being injured very badly.
Okay.
And I told Dennis at the time, this is so loud. One of these neighborhood houses or the people that run the park are going to hear this. And if something happens to this lady, we're the two dumbasses they're going to find when they show up. And I was like, maybe we should just get out of here and call when we get out of here and not be part of this. And it went on for a little while, and and Dennis isn't an outdoors person, so he's asking me, he's like terrified, like what is doing that? And like I said, I thought it was a woman, and then a second one starts up further into the woods away from the first one, and I was like, there's no way there's two ladies out here being injured. And this town does have the history of like satanic stuff, so I didn't know if that's what we stepped into or what was going on. But we were kind of trapped because my ID was in a backpack on this peninsula, the back end of this lake where we left the fish and stuff, like cast it out. And I told him, I was like, man, I have to go back to at least grab my backpack because if something happens, they're gonna find my ID and be at my house the next day
Right. Right.
thinking that this is all my fault. And we were kind of trapped because of where these screaming noises were coming. We're in between where this playground was and where the back end of this lake is, where we had the stuff. And I was like, well, maybe if we wait a little bit, something will change, and I'll go over there by myself just to grab my bag and get out of there. And at that point, I could hear what sounded like metal on concrete or like a sewer lid being slid on the road,
Uh-huh.
like that noise. And Dennis could hear this too at this point, but it wasn't till I asked him if he could feel that too, and he looked at me puzzled, like, What are you talking about?" So I don't know if this has something to do with me falling out of the tree and feeling something that he couldn't, but I was feeling like a shock. Well, you were in the military, so you'd probably understand this. When someone shoots like a high caliber rifle and
Yeah.
you get that like impact shock wave in your
Yes.
body if you're
Yes, like a
near it.
50 cal or something. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, like a Barrett. Um, I've been around those enough to put those 2 together that that's very close to what I was feeling, like, the impact from the Barrett 50 cal being fired was probably the closest I can get to it, but it kept slapping, like, my heart, my chest, like it was almost skipping a beat, and I looked at Dennis, and, when Dennis was younger, he got, injured by a little girl on a swing on the playground at school, so he's kinda got bad vision, at least in the one eye, and it being dark and only light by the lake or whatever, we couldn't really see much. But that's when I really started to freak out because I'm like, what am I feeling? This has never been an option, and I didn't. And I even explained this on this channel 7 8 years ago when no one was talking about the sound of concrete and metal like
Okay.
being associated with some of the weirdness out in the woods. And I felt always weird trying to explain it, and I was trying to explain it like it was almost mechanical, where like I worked construction, so I knew what it was like when a big dump truck dumps a load of gravel or sand, and the aluminum tailgate slams against the truck. You almost feel
Right,
that.
right, right, right. My
When
dad used to be a truck driver. Yeah, he did dump
yeah,
truck driver.
it felt like a combination between that and like a gunshot from a high caliber rifle. But I was like, "Hey, man, do you feel that?" And he looked at me puzzled, like, what are you even talking about? I don't feel nothing." And he just shook his head. And we're whispering at this point because we don't know the screaming still continuing as we're hearing this and I'm feeling this. So I was worried extremely, even more than from before. Once I could feel like the every 30 seconds the shock wave hit, I guess. And I was just like, man, we need to get out of here. So at this point, we could hear a struggle in the woods near one of the screamings where it sounded like a bunch of treetops or maybe a big patch of like vines and trees were being moved at one time. And we're not able to see this because it's further in the woods where we can hear it. But I'm just kind of like squatting on this blacktop trail that goes around the lake, and I'm like closing my eyes to almost use my senses of hearing better, or at least to try
Yeah.
to figure out what was going on. And like I said, there was at that point there was like two different screamings, and they weren't like together. They were what you'd hear one, you'd hear the other one, but you could hear the struggle. And I was like, man, because of the owls, like maybe when every now and then a deer will scream, like a buck or a white-tailed deer. It's not reported too often, but I've heard it once at nighttime where I thought it was a person screaming, but the deer walked up pretty close and it was screaming. So I told him maybe the owl has a deer, and it's this big owl is trying to drag away like a deer, or a few of them are trying to eat this deer alive. And that was like my way of coping or explaining to myself that there was danger, but it wasn't a woman at that point is what I thought. So I was relieved in that part. But I was like, we still need to get out of here. And my backpack's I have to walk towards all this noise to get to my backpack, and I'm not swimming the lake at night. And the noises finally started to move away from us deeper into the woods. The struggle, the one kind of died out and didn't scream too much anymore. And then the second one finally did too, but you could still hear like commotion deep in the woods where it didn't sound like footfall, it just sounded like a struggle in thick brush.
Okay.
And when it got further away, I was like, man, this is our chance, or at least my chance to get over and get my backpack, grab my fishing stuff, which was probably maybe 500 to $1,000 between my backpack and 4 poles and some stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, man, I really want to grab my stuff if it's possible. So Dennis ends up going with me because the noise is further away, and I don't think he wanted to be by himself. We just felt like we should stick together, and we started to like walk as quiet as we could towards the gear on this peninsula or whatever where it was out. And by the time we got almost to the poles, you could hear something, which this is going to kind of sound a little bit crazy. It sounded like something was outside the park and it ran towards us, maybe like a quarter mile away, but it ran towards us, straight towards us, like from where it was at. And you could hear little trees, branches break. You could hear what sounded like a whole tree falling over as it was like beelining and coming towards us.
Okay.
And that terrified the shit. Sorry, the terrified the crap out of me. And I've never heard any. I mean, it sounded like somebody driving a dump truck through a woods with no trails and just being able to like hit trees and knock them over. Whether there was trees knocked over, I'm not sure. I mean, I have a feeling that the metal noise was possibly a portal opening, but then I felt like we were in a bubble and nobody could hear what was going on. And I'll explain why, I guess. I thought that later on. But when all this noise, commotion, or whatever, it stopped short of us, and it was maybe 60 yards out where it stopped when it ran towards us. But it did all that. It covered that much ground in like not even 10 seconds.
Wow.
And like nothing's really gonna drive straight through a thick woods with no trails in it that fast and make that much commotion. And you could actually hear like a bipedal foot thump while it was running towards us. And I mean, I wanted to believe as a kid that Bigfoot was real, but at that point I was not sure because it wasn't anything I've ever experienced or seen. And it just stopped dead quiet. There was no noise, and we just sat there on that peninsula with my stuff on and the poles reeled in, and we were hoping to go out one of the ways, but we could still hear the commotion where we came in. And this
Mhm.
thing, I wish I had a map to show you like where and how this thing approached and stopped. And
Okay.
we waited probably a good
You can maybe tell
hour.
me what's the name of the park?
Lemon Lake County Park in
Google.
Cedar Lake.
Okay, hold on. Let's go ahead and take yourself a break and let's take a look. See, that way you can explain.
Uh,
I can actually show it.
yeah, that's cool if you could do that because it's
Yeah. So, what's the name of the park and which state?
Lemon Lake in Indiana. It's in
Lawn,
Cedar Lake
Lon,
County. Lemon,
lemon,
yeah, Lemon Lake.
lemon, Lemon,
Yep.
Lemon Lake.
I think it's only like
in
12-acre
Indiana.
lake or something. Yes.
Okay, Lemon Lake, Indiana. Okay.
Well, it's Cedar Lake, Indiana, but Lemon Lake is the county park.
Okay, so it's a county park. Okay, I'll go ahead and share this, and you can direct me where I should go if you can see it. Let's go ahead and share screen.
That would be very cool.
Oh, very good. Oh, absolutely, man. That's the whole idea. Okay, so
If
here
I
we
was
have
better
Lemon
with
Lake.
tech, I was going to say if I was better with tech, I'd be able to do it myself to explain and show.
Okay, so
That's the peninsula.
okay, so there's a peninsula. This
Yeah,
big one
that's
here.
where the stuff was at. The park, the playground that we were trying to
Point?
disassemble. Is that houses?
I don't know, honestly. It's a long time ago. Maybe. Yeah, it looks like houses. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
Maybe it's
houses
another peninsula.
in the park. Yeah, it's not that.
It's what's the name of the park?
Lemon Lake County Park is the name.
Is it called Riddle Point? Okay, it's Riddle Point Park. Is that it?
Yeah, that's not. This is in Cedar Lake, so I don't know
Lemon
if
Lake
that's.
County Park. Okay,
Is that Cedar Lake? That looks kind of
Cedar
like.
Lake.
Is that what the lake name of lake is right there?
Okay, I got Lemon Lake. I don't know where Cedar Lake is. This is
Cedar
Lemon Lake.
Yeah, but there's no houses back
Cedar
there.
Lake, Indiana. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we're on the wrong part. Maybe we're on the wrong plate. Okay, Cedar Lake.
That's weird. Okay, it's from there, from Cedar Lake, it would be
okay.
east.
So which?
It would be a little northeast, I
okay,
believe.
So what's the name of the state park or the park? Do you know the name?
County Park. It's Lemon Lake County Park.
Northeast. Yeah, I'm on Cedar Lake right now. Okay, so I got to know which lake is it on? Is it Lemon Lake or is it Cedar Lake?
Lemon Lake. Cedar Lake's just the town. So it's like a little bit northeast of that lake. More east than north, but a little bit
northeast.
So it'd be over to your right somewhere. There should be another body of water.
Lemon Lake County Park?
Yeah.
Lemon Lake County Park?
Yep. There should, I think it's about 10 or 12 acres.
Yeah, it's right here. Is it called Lemon Lake County Park?
Yep, that's it. Now there's a.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Now on the back end of the lake, which would be the north. Well, it'd be the east side of that lake is the back end of it, where you'll see the peninsula.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah. I just didn't know if you see the peninsula.
Okay. No, I'm not seeing a peninsula. I'm seeing. Okay, if I'm here at Lemon Lake County Park, there is a beach volleyball court. We have
there's a playground next to
the road is County Drive.
Okay, and then you go to the lake, and then the back end of the lake, there should be a point that sticks out. There is a
Maybe,
volleyball, and that's actually
maybe,
the
but
new
there's
playground. It's
okay.
the second
So
one
is
that's
there a
more
point?
north.
The one, the
The
more north.
second
Okay,
lake.
the one with the ring road around it.
Yeah, that's the trail that goes around the lake. That comes into it too.
Okay,
That's
so I guess the
awesome that
peninsula
you
would be this part sticking out here. So the
I
peninsula is
can't see
on
the
the north side. You have to go all the way around.
right where your arrow is at right now is where it was, and it's slowly been eroding over the years to
Okay,
where it, I guess eating away the peninsula. But
okay,
yeah, we were trapped there for a good hour and a half because whatever ran in was a little bit more north outside the park, and it ran to, I guess
uh
that would
huh.
be the northern tip, and it stopped short of us, and it didn't make a sound. So I assumed that I don't know if I was just reasoning myself because I was so scared, but I thought maybe this thing realized whatever it was because I've never heard anything run that fast or make that much commotion towards us or whatever, that it finally, after an hour and a half of not hearing anything, that it wandered off or walked away without really making any noise. So
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
That's
waiting,
know to
and
go
I
to the
tell
right.
Dennis,
You didn't know to go to the right or
well,
hmm
to the right was the playground, and that was where
okay.
the screaming noise and the whatever was in the woods in between us, because the playground is probably not on this map because they disassembled and took it down. But yeah, I for some unknown dumb reason, I told Dennis, I was like,
Little
you know, and
pond.
this is my,
It's maybe I don't know 50 maybe 60 yards by 100 yards long, something like that.
yeah, it's that one right now on the screen.
Okay. All
Yep.
right.
And
Okay. So
the playground was over to your right from where your cursor was just at.
okay.
It's no longer there, but yeah, it was somewhere a little further up from
And
where you were
here's
just at. Where actually
okay.
where that
Up here
trail
some
winds around and leaves that loop, it was pretty close to right there on the right side of
okay, I
the
got
east
you.
side.
I got you on the right side.
And
This loop here. Okay.
yeah, that's where the playground, maybe a little bit
Okay,
north, that's
let's
where it
get
was
out of
at.
here then. All right.
And I told Dennis, I was like, "Hey, I'm not scared." And for
Okay.
some unknown reason, I get a little bit of guts in me. And I was like, I think whatever it was left, or maybe it ate whatever it was eating, and it obviously didn't want us, or it would have continued to come towards us more. But I was like, let's head away from whatever just ran towards us and stopped and go towards the playground again and maybe unbolt this thing and just get out of here. And Dennis kind of nodded his head because the mosquitoes were horrible. Even though we sat there for an hour and a half in the dark, we were getting bit up where we had our heads like in our shirts and our arms in our sleeves and
Tucked
stuff. And
inside, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, just because they were that bad. And I think that's part of the reason why I was like, let's do something and just get out of here. So at this point, I I put myself on the danger side and I let Dennis stay on the inside ring of that trail that goes around. And we got off of where this trail comes off the peninsula and we got on the asphalt trail. And I kind of remember the sound of our feet touching the asphalt and not making very much noise, like I guess trying to be quiet about it. And I looked to my left, and this is like I said, if you can go back and find the show that I called in live on, maybe I can figure out where it's at and send you a link to listen if you got time. But I believe the first one that kind of brings us up in the paranormal community. But I'm looking to the left where the commotion was or whatever as we're walking out, and I could see pretty far in the woods. I don't have glasses, but my eyes adjusted just from being in the dark for so long,
Right.
and not we didn't bring a flashlight, which was dumb, but we weren't planning on using any. But I'm looking into the woods on my left, and he's on the right side towards the lake, and we're walking back to the right side. And I want to say something to Dennis, but I'm still like confused. And I'm looking in the woods, and further in the woods, it looked like I could see further in the woods on the left side of the like this black rectangular box. Like it just looked like somebody had a curtain up, stretched over a spot in the woods, and I was like, I wanted to be like, hey man, look at this, but I'm still just like not talking, and we're moving slowly, like quietly on the asphalt, and I'm thinking, why am I able to see further in the woods on the left side of this blank spot, and then further on the right side, I can see further in the woods, like with my vision. But there was one spot that was just like blacked out, or it just looked like a rectangular box the size of almost like a semi trailer, maybe, or like more like a C box, like a train cart box,
Okay.
the smaller ones, like the 20, 30 footers or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But I don't have time to say hey or anything, and I'm staring at it thinking, why am I able to not, or why am I able to see on both sides of this and not that? And while I'm looking at it, it looked like, and it wasn't high to the ground. It only looked like it was maybe 6 or 8 foot tall, this blank spot. But it looked like the silhouette, I guess, of Bigfoot stepped out of this black spot. And when it did, I could see like I guess the conical head sticking up above the 6 or 8 foot mark, to
Uh-huh.
where I got a visual of something, and I still want to say something, but I'm just like kind of dropping my jaw, like what am I looking at? And it makes a break, and it starts running towards us, I guess, to do what people call, I guess, a bluff charge. And it stopped short, probably 50 feet, 60 feet, and Dennis still isn't seeing this or hearing this or anything. It's not really like making noise other than the thump, I guess, of its feet. That's the only like noise it made. But when it stopped, it looked like it got bigger, like it puffed up and became bigger, wider, and maybe a hair taller. And it roars. And when it roars, the only way to describe the roar would be like if you gave a gorilla and mixed it with a lion. Because and have you've been in America where they have like the tornado siren?
Yes.
It was almost like if you gave a lion and mixed a lion and a gorilla and a bear possibly, and gave it a megaphone, and somehow had the siren. Like I don't know why that reminds me of the tornado sound,
It
but it
makes
was so
so much sense. What a great way to describe it.
it was
Great way
so
to describe it.
long. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, and then I thought for years, like, man, if I would have had a gun, I would have stepped back and to a tree for cover on the side of it, and probably took a couple of well placed shots. 'Cause I am handy, I guess, in that department. But that probably would have got us after I learned later on about these things or whatever. But yeah, it when it roared, he obviously heard it at that point, and I don't know which direction he was facing. He was probably looking maybe that way finally now, but I never. He was on my right side, and I'm looking to my left. And when this thing roars, it reminded me like how loud a tornado siren is, and how long of a breath it was. How it like sticks around with the siren part of the noise,
Yeah.
and it was like my whole chest, my sternum, and everything. I could feel it vibrating like a piece of plastic, like if you stuck a plastic bag out a window and you're driving and
Okay.
it would
Okay.
vibrate. It made my whole chest shake like that, and I felt air, like pressure, intense pressure pushing down on my head and forward on my chest at the same time, like simultaneously. Like somehow when it roared, it I don't know if it was the waves, the sound waves, or what, but it was like somebody had a huge fan or a helicopter, and they were pushing air down on me and towards my chest. And I had stuff in my hand that I just threw, and I don't know why. I thought about it later why I turned in towards it to to run, not at it, but I was already looking left, so I finished the motion of turning left to run backwards from where I was facing. And when I did that, I lost track of Dennis, and I was like so hysterical of being scared, I guess at that point. I was running pretty fast. I threw what I had in my hands to run even faster, and now I'm running this trail to the left side of the back end of the lake just to get out of there that way because of where it was at. And I'm thinking somebody, not somebody, bunches of somebody's just heard this thing roar and they're calling the cops for sure. Several people probably are in the houses that are like on
Yes, I
the
can
back
imagine.
perimeter.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that like it was almost like I was trapped in a bubble or a portal or something because I really fully expected it to be like in the paper and like it be a thing somewhere like loud intense noise was heard around this area or something was going to show up. But anyway, while I'm running, I get probably halfway from the back end of the lake where this point stuck out to the parking lot. And I'm thinking in my head, what just happened? Like I'm running full speed and I'm thinking, man, I've never ran this fast in my life. Like I felt like I was breaking a land record somehow. But
Yeah.
as I'm running, I'm thinking, no one's ever going to believe what just happened. And then I start thinking about Dennis's sister and his mom, which I was good friends with. And I thought, oh shit, Dennis. Like I left Dennis over there and he froze up or something instead of running. And now I'm screwed because what am I going to tell his sister? Bigfoot got him or his mom, Bigfoot got your son. Sorry, I don't know where he's at.
Right, dude.
And
Wow.
yeah, as I'm run, like and the just to go back for a second, when I was running, I was thinking the cops are on their way for sure. Several people called them probably, but I was trying to think of a lie or an excuse of why I was even back there because I fully expected the cops to meet me by the time I was able to run like out of this park. I figure they were gonna intercept me somewhere and be like, "What just happened?" or whatever. And I'm trying to like think of an excuse in my head while I'm running why I was back there, and I can't remember why I was back there. Like I'm trying hard in my head to think, why was I even what was I even doing? I knew where I was at. I knew I was at Lemon Lake on the backside running, but I couldn't I got like so startled or I don't know what to call it, but I got so like scared, I guess, that I couldn't remember why I was even back there. And when I thought about it, I was like, man, Dennis, I left Dennis. And I haven't turned around yet. I'm still running full speed, but I started to slow down and I was thinking, I don't have a gun. Like I'm reasoning with myself, like, what am I supposed to do? I want to go back because I feel like he would maybe do the same thing for me to help me. Maybe he's injured, maybe something's happening. I don't know. But I started to slow down, and when I did that, I haven't turned around yet, and he finally blows past me running. And I was
Okay,
thinking,
that's
thank
good. That's
God.
good news. That's good news.
Yeah, I was thinking, thank God I don't have to go back to face whatever. And then this thing running in when it stepped out of that spot wasn't in so there had to at least been three somethings out there. I don't know what the other two were. I only got to see the silhouette in the dark of the one, and it was almost like I could see frames, like if you would draw a cartoon and put a like if somebody put their finger in the socket and they had hair and it
Yeah,
stood out,
yeah.
like that's
Okay.
kind of like what I was seeing in the dark as the silhouette. But when
Whoa.
Dennis
Okay.
when Dennis runs past me, I was just like, thank. I literally said, "Thank God," because I didn't. I really didn't want. I wanted to turn around to go back for him, but I didn't yet because I just was like that scared, and we
Yeah,
didn't
fight
say
or
a
flight,
word.
man. Fight or flight,
Yeah,
dude.
we didn't say a word to each other, and we run out of this park off this trail to the right side of that volleyball beach or whatever it was in the new
Yeah.
playground. And there's a
Mhm.
side gate that goes into a subdivision right there. We ran through that, which was past couple baseball fields, through the subdivision, down the street, past another school, got to my car, which I had parked at a buddy's house, and it was just there. And we jumped in it. We still haven't said a word. We jumped in the car. We drove to my house. We went inside. I locked the door for the first time, I think, in my life. Like at that point, I never cared to lock my door. We didn't have. I'm not that worried. Even if somebody did come in, that's that's on them. What I might do, but yeah, I locked the door because I was that scared, and I just sat down shaking and lit up a cigarette. Finally, he did the same thing, and we just sat there for probably 10 minutes, not even saying a word. Like we should have been like, "What was that? What do you remember?" Anything, but we just sat there like quiet, like we just witnessed something that crazy, I guess. And after 10 minutes, Dennis finally says, "What the hell was that?" He was like, because he didn't get to see what I seen. I was facing that way when it stepped out, and he was his exact words were either dinosaurs are real and they're still alive because of all the tree break and everything when it ran towards us, and then the roar, or that's Bigfoot back there. And it really doesn't make sense for Bigfoot to show up in that little
Patch of
area.
woods there. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know how big the park actually is itself. I know the lake's only like 10 acres, but it just doesn't make sense to me for Bigfoot to chance being seen. Or at that point, I thought maybe Bigfoot could be stopped by bullets. So I was thinking, why would he even risk being shot? Because everybody's got guns in town, like,
Yeah.
and show up there. But I think it was possibly connected to me, just like the owl was, and from me falling out of the tree later on. That's what I come up with anyway.
Can I ask you
And
some questions about
yeah,
this? You were talking about this, you could see in one spot and not another. Could you
yeah.
like go into detail about that a little bit more? Because I'm a bit confused.
I'm
All the
I'm
little
looking. I'm
details
on the
about it.
yeah, yeah. I'm on the asphalt trail, and I'm
Hmm.
looking to my left, and I'm scanning the woods because I can see pretty good. I got good vision, especially in the dark, even. And I was thinking, man, I wish I had a flashlight, but I'm like scanning and looking as hard as I can, as far as I can in the woods. And then that's when I noticed that it was like the size of a train cart box, and it looked like a suspended black curtain, like it was
Okay.
just it was like a rectangular box
What do you mean by
to where it looked.
suspended? It was off the ground?
Well, no, I guess suspended would be a bad describing word, but it was just like there was nothing above where this uh
Oh,
shadow was. I guess it was
I
just
got
like
what
a
you're saying.
black.
So it's like and it's
A,
rectangular in shape?
yeah, it was like a black shadow, and that was like I've heard other shows where they've talked about, like, I don't know if you heard of like the Meadow projects where they
Yeah, yes,
describe.
I've had that gentleman on,
That's
yes.
when I heard that, it was like it was giving me chills because I was like, man, that's
Yes.
very similar to what I've seen.
Yeah, his name is,
But
missing
y-
me right now. I can't think of his name, but yes, the Meadow Project, of course. I've had
yeah,
that gentleman on.
and like I said, I talked about this probably maybe even 10 years ago on a call-in live show for like the paranormal and stuff. And I just sounded to myself, I just sounded so crazy because I'm trying to describe this Bigfoot encounter without telling them that I was there to steal a slide that they were throwing away. And then I'm trying to describe this black shadow curtain that no one's really heard about or talked about. I'm describing the noises, that the metal banging noises and the scraping noises, like it was almost mechanical, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, the Meadow Project with Trey Hudson. I've
Yeah,
had him
that's
on
a,
too. Trey Hudson, that's his name. Yes.
yeah, I remember that was
This
a good show.
yes, it was a great one.
But yeah, I just felt like I was like, I'm getting closer. Somebody's on the trail, but I don't know why that was over there. But I have a feeling that this whole thing happened because of me, and the fact that we were gonna do it 2 different nights that we canceled or called off, and then we end
Yeah.
up doing this the 3rd night that we try to do it, we end up back there, makes me wonder if it would even happened if we would have done it one of the other nights,
Yeah,
because it was
that's
just
something
so weird.
yeah, that's something you'll never know. So you're saying that then the Sasquatch then came out of this like a
Yeah, it was
curtain?
almost like it stepped out of a bunker. because when it did, like when I seen the mass in front of it, that wasn't completely. It was black, but it was like gray black almost, like to where it was a different color. But then, like I said, when it stepped out of it, this thing was only 8 or 6 or 8 foot tall. It looked like the rectangle box, but it looked like when it stepped out at first, I seen the head above, like there was
Above
a now
the
there
line,
was a
the
head
line.
a head
Okay.
silhouette above this box now where it was only 6 or 8
Okay.
foot tall, and then it came into view more as it came towards us and then stopped to roar.
Wow. And you also said after it bluff charged you and stopped, that it looked like it expanded. Could you maybe tell me a little
Yeah,
bit more?
it almost looked like it puffed up, like what I was looking at, like grew bigger and then taller even, like it was almost hunched over till
Okay.
it stopped the motion and then either got bigger or stood up fully the rest of the way. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe it was like kind of, how when you run really fast, you kind of lean forward, a little bit. Maybe it was something
Yeah,
like
and
that.
when it like how it stepped out, it made me wonder if that was like it was hunched over to stop. Like, it was almost like somebody stepped out of a bunker and then had head clearance to lift their head up.
This is
Is
incredible,
I
man.
guess
And
how
how
it
do
looked.
you? And so what did your Dennis? What did Dennis describe to you once you get back to the house? What did he tell you about
Well,
what he
he
saw
talked
and heard?
first.
Hmm.
He really don't like to talk about it at all. I mean, I've tried to get more out of him, even though I know he wasn't looking that way at first, and he doesn't have the best vision. He just remembers the roar and
Okay.
thought, man, either dinosaurs are real, is what he said, and they're back there in Lemon Lake, or that was Bigfoot. That was his exact words. And I was like, you didn't see that? You didn't?" And he was like, "No." He's just like, I started running after you took off and it roared." And I was like,
Wow.
"Sorry, man." I was like, I when I turned left, I lost track of him because he was on my right, and
Hmm.
it scared me so bad, it startled me so bad that I completely forgot that he was even with me. I thought I was running alone, and it felt very surreal when I was running. Like, it
Okay.
felt like I was running full speed, but it just felt so surreal, like a dream almost, or almost like I wished it was a dream, but it did. It felt that way as I
Oh,
was running.
like you're running in slow motion, kind of, even though you're trying to go as fast as you can, or
You ever seen The Big Lebowski
yeah.
where Jeff Bridges gets the arrested and he's got the cop behind him and Jackie Treehorn drugs him?
Oh, that's a long time ago. I know the movie.
Well, he's running in front of the cop and he's like uh almost imagining these people that were after him or whatever, the nihilists or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But the
Yeah.
cop's behind him and he's still running and it just doesn't feel real is exactly how that felt. It felt like I either shouldn't be there or I don't know. I really don't know how to describe that point other than
Yeah, it's the whole
it
thing's
was
difficult to describe. The whole thing is
very
difficult to
surreal,
describe.
like, and I like I said, I'm running full speed and I'm thinking, man, I thought in my head, I gotta be like beating it. I wish I had like a Fitbit on or something so I could
Track what you
recorded
did.
how fast I was running. 'Cause I'm a fast runner, but I was like, man, this is the fastest I ever ran in my life from this adrenaline.
So you heard
And
this screaming. Sorry, once again, James.
no, you're right.
When you heard the screaming, you heard it coming from 2 or 3 different locations.
Two different locations, and those weren't connected to the noise that came charging towards us and then what stepped out of the bunker. So I don't know if there was three. For sure there was three things out there with us, but I don't know if there was even a fourth one. But I feel
Okay.
like possibly after learning what I learned later on in years that maybe they were female Bigfoot and the male was protecting them, or they were juveniles and the mom was protecting them
Okay.
and we were too close. But for some reason, my gut feeling tells me that later on that all this happened was because of me. Like my frequency allowed
It
these
might
things
have
to show up
changed.
there.
It might have changed, like some
Yeah,
people,
after I
they have
saw
some
that
type of
tree, I
right.
think.
Did you hit your head?
No, I was caught. I explained that on the first show. I fell out of the tree and I was climbing. climbing with tree spikes on, and the rope actually saved me. I didn't kick, and I knew I was dead to rights, going to hit the ground head first. And when the rope wrapped my leg, I was never kicking my legs. I was never screaming. I was just like, this was dumb, and this is how it ends. And then all of a sudden, maybe
That
20 feet from the ground, 30 feet from the ground, I feel burning on my leg, like a burning sensation, and it left that candy cane bruise from the rope wrapping my leg 3 times, which to me is impossible to do
I don't
even
think you
once.
told me that, buddy. I don't remember that.
You
Maybe
might
my
have to go
memory's
back
failing.
because I think I
Yeah,
I
maybe my
described
memory's failing me, and if it is,
the
then
tree the tree fall, but I think that set me on my path to all this weird stuff happening because it continued to happen after that point. Like,
okay. Could you
other
go
than
back
a
to
UFO experience, which I'm not sure if I told that happened in 98, 99, I believe it was 99.
well, we can do that at another time. Maybe we can do that at
Yeah.
a different time if you're, if you're willing, of course. But I wanted to get back to the sound that you heard.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've heard this once before from Martin Groves. If you guys don't know, go back to Tony Merkel's podcast,
Oh, the metal?
the confessionals with the metal scraping against concrete. As soon as you said that, that's where my brain went.
Yeah, it was like a sewer. It reminded me of like if you drug a sewer lid across the road.
Okay,
Like
yes, that's what you
that
did say.
noise
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
it, and then the shock waves were hitting every 30 seconds to a minute in between this scraping noise.
You were getting
So
that's
I don't know
right.
if that was like a portal opening and more of
Hmm.
these things coming
That's a hell of an
because the
experience, dude.
screaming noise was already happening. And like I said, what was screaming sounded not human.
Yeah. Let's
It did to a point of reasoning to try to cope and reason, but then when the second one started up, I was like, "Man, that is not a woman,
maybe
and we're gonna
maybe this
beat
whole thing
you."
is a large misunderstanding where Bigfoot is working for Parks and Recreation.
Right. Well, I thought the people that live up by the gate, I figured for sure they called the cops. I figured
Mhm.
at least on average, maybe 10 or more people, their windows probably would have rattled. But you hear stories of like Krampus where the kids are screaming and the parents can't hear
Yeah.
their screams is what makes me think like I guess Josh Turner describes it pretty good where he come up with it's almost like a pocket reality, even though you're right where you were at, and almost like you step into a different dimension and
Mhm.
everything's still the same. Like
Yeah,
it's
like
trapped.
they somehow they're able to encapsulate you within the reality they want you to
Well,
be
I
in.
don't know like how big you're into science, but the in space or whatever is a vacuum, and they
Yeah.
said no sound can escape a vacuum, and it makes me think that somehow they're creating some kind of vacuum when they do these portals to where other people aren't intervening when whatever's happening.
Wow.
Like you're trapped in there, and whether they take you, you may not come back to where
Right.
you're at. But it was that thing screamed or roared so loud that thought for sure the cops were going to be there, and I was like racking my brain thinking, and I don't have anything in my hand at this point, so I can't remember why I was even back there. I was just
Yeah.
like, man,
I was fishing and I ran
I was
away.
like, I was basically like delirious at that point, just trying to run as fast as I could away
Right, man.
from that area. And
Right.
like I said, Dennis doesn't like to talk about it. Even with Josh and the owl, he doesn't like to talk about it. I've had them both because we're all friends. Had them both in the same room, and I've kind of tried to put both of the encounters together to like find
See
a
if there's a
pattern or
connection.
something for
Right, right,
myself.
buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
And with I get nods and shakes of the head out of them instead of talking.
Yeah,
I'll
because
ask
it's
them
traumatic,
something
man.
and
It
yeah, and then
takes a lot of
they'll kind of just like either nod their head or shake their head no instead of like saying, "This is what I remember. Let's try to figure this out." He just
yeah, man. Well,
then
so I mean,
after that, I was scared to be in my backyard at night,
wow.
even though I live probably at that point I lived probably a mile away from where the owl happened, and I live probably 2 miles away from where this happened. So I was scared to be outside once it was dark for quite a few years.
Yeah, that's
I
a
didn't even
very
want to be
common
on the
occurrence. But I
I didn't
want
want to
to
be on the back porch even. I felt like that something was going to jump out of the trees or come and get me.
yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot of fortitude to even come forward to. I mean, we know each other, but we don't know each other. You don't know me like that, and I don't know you like that. But that you come on and say that, I hope in some weird way it helps a little bit. And just want to tell you that I believe you, man, because you're not the only one with these stories. Okay.
Thanks. But yeah, to me, the connection was maybe falling out of that tree that day. And the owl comes back into play later on too, even
Okay.
further down the road, where I described it to somebody that I became friends with probably 5 6 years ago, and we decided to go fishing. And I limit my my time out in the woods, especially at that point, especially like at dark or somewhere away from the house. I know I'm a magnet for weird stuff, so my good friends know that that's something could probably happen. People that I'm not that good friends with, I don't tell them all my paranormal or any of my paranormal experiences, and then they find out kind of the hard way, which makes me
but
feel
but
like
you
I'm a
want to have
bad person,
friends.
but
You want to
I
have
sound
friends to
crazy.
do stuff with, but if you tell them, they won't go. So they, oh my god, dude, what a
So
conundrum.
I move out of Cedar Lake after that, and where I move is in the city, and I'm thinking, man, I'm safe here. There's violence, there's gangs, there's guns and everything, but I feel safer somehow here than I did in that town.
I understand.
And then
I really do.
I was in I was injured, and I wasn't able to work for a while because of a neck injury. And my grandpa had a house still left in Gary, and he was like, I'll tell you what, it needs a roof and work done to it, but you can have it. So I was like, okay. So that helped me like catch up to where, and I had my son was born, my first son. So I was like, that's gonna help big, not having to be out there working in the elements and trying to find rent money and stuff like that. So the
Hmm.
first night I'm there, I'm standing out on the porch, and there isn't all the houses are buildings and houses that were near where this house is my grandpa has, or they gave me, there had been knocked down or burnt, knocked down, and cleared away. So there really wasn't too many houses, even though I was in a bad area, like near me. And
Okay.
I'm outside smoking a cigarette, and I don't, at this point, I haven't dived into the internet looking for answers as far as like Bigfoot, paranormal, anything. I'm not even into that. And I'm outside smoking a cigarette by myself. It's late. I just moved a bunch of stuff from where I was living to my new house, and across the street in the dark, at first I was like, man, that's a big dog. Because I'm smoking a cigarette and I'm thinking, who the hell lets a dog that big run? I'm thinking that, like, I don't, I'm on the porch near the door, but this dog that looks like a wolf. I'm not saying that it was a dog, man, but I'm just saying, or an upright canine or whatever. But this dog, I'm thinking, man, I know there could be coyotes around, like, because of the train tracks, but there ain't no wolves in Gary, Indiana. And it looked like, even like it looked like what people would describe as like a timber wolf, that size.
Okay.
It cuts across the street, doesn't even look at me, cuts across the street, goes up to the one house left on the end, and I can't see it stand up, but it leans up, and it somehow flips the lid on like a big, like, the wheel garbage cans with the
Yeah.
lid, the big square one. It flips the lid, so I couldn't tell whether it used its nose or its paw or what, but it flips the lid, and it's so big that it's able to stand up and dip its head into the garbage can, and it's just eating. And then I'm thinking, like, damn, I'm not coming outside again to smoke a cigarette without a gun. And that point, it lifted its head up and it looked at me. When I was thinking that, I guess it popped its head out of the garbage can, whatever it was looking for, and it looked at me, and that was enough to scare me to run, throw my cigarette and run inside. And I'm
Yeah.
describing this to my ex-wife at the time, and she's just like, she don't know what to think. I'm telling her about all this stuff that's that's happening that she's not witnessing, other than the owl flying in front of her car before my son was born and she was pregnant with him. It flew
Yeah.
in front of her car driving. But
James,
yeah, I was like, man,
uh,
I moved to the city, and
yeah.
then this
And then
stuff
it's the
starts to
weirdness.
happen.
It's already happening again. I'm not
Oh,
trying to be rude or anything. We did start quite a bit later than I expected, and I do have another show coming up soon, and I got to get
oh,
prepared for that.
understandable, man. I'm sorry for the
Yeah.
trouble at the
No,
beginning.
don't worry, dude. No trouble at all. Are you kidding me? It's been my pleasure. I mean, we can come back on and talk about any and everything you want, anytime you want, whenever time reaches you. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
it doesn't stop there. It just it keeps
Yeah, well, yeah,
the
we'll
ball
start. We'll
keeps
pick up from there.
unraveling.
We'll pick up
Yep,
from there. If
absolutely,
that's
man.
okay with you, man. I'll have you on.
No, yep,
We'll bump it down the road however you want, man. Whenever you can, just let me know. Okay.
okay,
All right, buddy.
sounds good.
I
Well,
really appreciate you coming on and sharing this with me, man. I really
even
do.
if you got an opening on the 20th, I'll come back on
I'll take a
to
quick look.
continue if you
I'll take a
do.
quick look. See. Let's take a quick look. See.
'Cause I know that was when we were originally scheduled, so
The
if you still have that,
20th. Yeah, we can definitely do it. It'll be at 7 p.m. my time. What are you, East Coast or Central?
Central.
Central, yeah. So it'd be 7 o'clock in the evening. You'd probably be done with work or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
maybe you're still at home. Who knows? And I'll have you back on, man. We'll do it again.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds
buddy.
good.
I
Glad to be
appreciate
here.
it. I appreciate it.
Yep.
So we are the eye. We are
Yep.
aware.
Till
Love you
next
all.
time.
Until next time. Later.
Appreciate it, man.
You have been watching the Eye of Jupiter podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of your favorite interviews. And remember, we are the Eye, and we are aware.